Okay, hello YouTubers. Well, this is Honda project number 2, video number 2, I'm sorry. And I have accomplished quite a bit actually. I had replaced the fuel filter, obviously emptied the tank, get the junk fuel out of there. Took the carburetor apart, cleaned it totally. One of the things that I found out, doing a little more research on that, the starter valve, it's a enhanced starter valve, and what its purpose is basically, and that's the little doohickey right there, this little guy right there. Again, you measure that. There's 2 prongs on where the wires attach right here. Inside that there's 2 prongs and 2 contacts, and you measure them, and you should be between 3 to 5 ohms at the most. If it's less than 3, it's bad. If more than 5, it's bad. But anyways, that basically acts like a choke. I found out that it's got a heater that uses wax, beeswax. It's got a heater, starts here, up here, and what happens is this heats up. That's what the 2 contacts do. They're basically the electrodes. Heats the mechanism up, and it slowly pushes down a valve, a little needle, and closes off just like a choke would do. It closes off so it can, choke it off basically like a choke does, to give you enrichment, so it starts when it's cold, and it'll idle high for a little bit while it's doing its thing, and once it senses from the ECM, which is this device right here, that's the ECM. I did find out 2 versions of this too, but anyways, that will tell it that okay, it's warm enough, it's ready, you can start reopening that little seat, that little valve, and that's what it does. Then it's normal to run. But anyways, this is an idle screw, and I found I had to adjust it first to get this thing to start up, because again, there was no fuel in the chamber, or anything in the carburetor. Everything was dry as it could be. I also I readjusted it down to where it's not idling so high right now. I'm gonna leave it alone. There's a little cover inside the seat, and when the seat's back on, there's a little cover inside that I can get to the screw right here, and that allows me to adjust that anyways when I'm all said and done basically. But anyways, I did find there is a restrictor in here, and I'll show you that here in a minute. But anyways, it's in here, and I removed it, and I'll tell you right now, I can tell the difference. She accelerates a lot hotter. And this is the restrictor plate right here. This is it right here. It sits basically like this. Again, there's an O-ring on the flip side, which you can see the pattern of the O-ring right here, the trace of it. Okay, there's an O-ring that sits on the carburetor side, and I took this plate off, not knowing what exactly what it's going to do. Everybody points the fingers to it and all that crap. I can change the variator weights and all that yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that, but anyways, we'll see what this does for her first. It's supposed to gain you about like 8 miles an hour, which is fine with me. It's pretty common, I hear, with the 50 cc's that people do this. Also had an issue with the handlebar. It wanted to move. So in my lift, I have a wheel lock, and I locked her in position, and then I adjusted the handlebar, and then tightened this nut and bolt here, and tightened her up pretty good. She was a little loose. So, but anyway, she does start up. In fact, I'm gonna start her up. Let you hear it here. Just give me a minute. Starts right up. She's got low on fuel too. I don't have much gas in it, but anyways, I can still got to change oil in this thing, but she wants to kick butt, which I think is pretty darn cool. But it took me a little bit to start it up again because of the fact that there was no fuel in the fuel train and all that. I did replace the spark plug anyways because of the bad fuel, and just basically, you know, working on the carburetor and all that stuff. I wanted to start out with fresh fuel when it with a new carburetor. I'm sorry, with a new spark plug. I did find, I'm gonna have to check my wife's, which is out there, that there was some blockage here on the radiator, dust and stuff. So that's because the air filters, it's a, or not air filter, but this is the filter for it basically. And you know, from the suction of keeping this cool, that's the little radiator. But I'm going to change oil in this dude. I checked all the air filter lines, the input to the carburetor, for good air filter and good vacuum, which is basically coming from here, right here. I'm sorry, going into here, which adds vacuum to the carburetor for this, because this is a vacuum membrane in here, runs on vacuum. But anyhow, I got her all back together, and I just want to give a report. I got to change oil. After I change the oil, I'm going to start putting this baby back together. I've done everything. Brand new battery in this thing. The battery's been sitting on this. I bought this Optimate 4. In this Optimate 4, a lot of good reviews on it. Everybody talked about it. Got, you know, blah 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 and all that stuff. But I bought this, and it optimizes the batteries, especially when you're getting new ones and you have to add the acid into them and all that stuff to activate them. And I'll tell you, this thing puts it through some tests, and it even has what they call a CAN cable, like on the Beamer bikes. They've got a CAN battery management system. Found out that you can actually hook this up to it when you're done riding, and it manages all that. But what it does is I can plug this onto my battery, onto any battery. I actually used it for my bike battery, but you can plug it on any battery, and it will manage that battery. I mean, it basically puts it through a chain of events, tests, a whole routine. It's pretty cool. And if it fails, it'll read out and tell you. There's some information on what these each mean. And again, this is meant for motorcycles, the Optimate 4. This one's for motorcycle batteries and like ATVs, you know, scooters, stuff like that. Anything that runs that kind of, the battery, where the battery is a maximum of like, I think 1 amp at the most. They have another Optimate for the big batteries, the big deep cells, stuff like that, but I don't use anything like that, obviously. But anyways, that's where I'm at. I did replace again, the fuel filter. That was actually easy to do. I bought a hand pump to empty the gas out. I had no way to get that off without making a heck of a mess in here. And I didn't want to do that in my shop. I didn't want gasoline all over the floor and stuff. So I just did, plus the gasoline was old and bad. So, but anyways, that's where I'm at right now with it. Cleaning up of it a little bit and working on it. It's been a lot of fun. I enjoy these things. I've got some a welding project coming up that I got to do soon, so I got to get this thing done, and it's dragged down long enough. My daughter wants to ride it, but anyways, again, I want to go back real quick to this ECM. There is another version of ECM. This is a Metro 2. Now the Metro 1 had a GET-65. And the Metro 2s are a GET-77. And the only difference between the two are this green and red wire right here. It's actually not on the other one. It's not there. It's there. And some have said you can jumper this from here to here, and it's supposed to do something also. Well, I'm not going there. You screw up an ECM, it's $300, so not going there. It started like I needed it to start. It's running good. You know, it's doing what I need it to do. I'm not gonna start messing around with things that I really don't know much about. I just know ECMs or ECUs, whatever you know. They're called many things. You just kind of don't want to mess with. So they're not something you goof around with. But anyways, this thing is basically about ready to start putting together after I changed oil, and I might pull off the front tire, take a look and see how the brakes are doing. This thing's only got like 200 and some miles on it, so they've not been on the road much. So I'm not too concerned about the brakes. They're pretty sound. I got to check the air pressure on both of them. I'll go through that. My daughter wants on the bottom panel here that's going to sit here. There's a bottom panel that goes here. It's part of the Tupperware. She wants flames on it. And, well, I'm not good at airbrushing, and it's something I'm thinking about tackling. But I'm going to look around at, like, AutoZone or them guys. There's different places got labels, stickers that might fit that. And if I have to trim it a little bit, I have to trim it. But I'm thinking about doing that right now. I kind of wanted to take the wheels off and go through either chrome them or spray them chrome, but I'm not going to do that. I think I'm just going to leave it alone. I've gone far enough. It had another month on the project, and I'm not going to do that. I want to get this thing done. I got welding to do, so some welding stuff to do and this and that. But anyhow, this is again the Honda 2005 Honda Metro 2. And right now she's stripped down, and I went through the whole regime of the carburetor, made her look good. I did the modification of the restriction. I did that, and I'm pretty happy with that so far. If it only gains her 5 miles an hour, it's 5 miles an hour. I'm not going to worry about it, but that's just the way it is. I mean, it is what it is. But anyhow, so that's where I'm at, and thanks again for watching. Appreciate comments, if any, and hope this helps somebody if they're working on a Honda Metro. It's again, they're pretty easy to work on. Really, they're really nothing to them. It's amazing how easy they are to work on. But it's been a lot of fun doing this. So we'll talk to you when I start putting it together. That'll be you'll see as I put the panels, start putting the panels together, having it make it look like a color now. So it'll actually it'll look pretty good. So we'll talk to you later.